Back again, just wanted to do a little short video, hopefully it'll be short, on using CrewAI to extract data out of Salesforce via their bulk API, their bulk 2.0 API. Now, I've done this numerous times when I was at Looker and Google and other companies, using a variety of tools like NiFi, Airflow, the GCP Composer version, and also even running it just in Kubernetes using Argo workflows as a custom resource definition. But what I wanted to try is using CrewAI to do kind of the same thing. So right now, I have kind of a rough skeleton working on at least doing the authentication into Salesforce and get a Java Web Token, and then submitting the job to the Salesforce bulk API and then monitoring the job until it completes. Now I'll have to add some additional tasks in here to download the data, but this is kind of what I have right now. So we can see here is the workflow where I'm doing the Salesforce auth. And if we go into the flows here, you can see my approach on this is I took the command line JS Force. There's a JS Force node package that you can run, node app that you can run to do all the authentication once you set it all up in Salesforce with the app, and you upload the keys and things like that. So that's the route I wanted to go to just make it a little bit easier. So what I did is inside cursor here, I used Composer, and I just cut and pasted my command line for JS Force in there. And I said, can you write me a node app to do the same thing? And it just kung fu'd it like crazy. And here it is right here. So this is the stuff it wrote. I didn't write any of this. I had to do a couple little quirks here and there, changes, mostly with like versions, and had to do a couple little things here with this, the redirects and stuff like that. But it wasn't anything rocket scientist, quite honestly. And I'm not a node developer, but this thing just works. So this is pretty cool. So yeah, so it wrote that for me. And then I also used Composer inside cursor to write pretty much all this CrewAI stuff. So this is the Salesforce auth one where we go ahead and get the token. And one of the reasons why I guess I wanted to do it in Docker is just to learn more. But the other thing is I didn't want to put my this server.key inside my Docker container, or obviously I don't want to check this into GitHub. So I just have this running in my local Docker, and I just mount the key here as a volume, so then my container can access that. And when it runs the the node app. All right, so then we kick off the flow, and then after that runs, it's going to this. If we go back to the flow here, you can see here that I'm passing in kind of this state here, this model, and I want to store this state in here. So I pass in this class into here, and then down here I can set the access token, or the state.access token, to the output of that that's returned from the container. And then we can take that and pass it on to the crew, and then the crew can access that access token for everything it needs to do. All right. So there's that. Let's go look at the crew here. It's a very simple one. So you can see here, once again, use Composer to write most of this. I have one agent here, and right now I have two tasks. So here's the agent where I use the bulk API tool. It's just a custom tool that I wrote using Composer again. And then these are the tasks. So I have a submit bulk query task, and then I have a check the bulk query task here, and then these are for the same agent. So I will go ahead and add like a download, obviously, when I'm all done. And then here's where I have the crew pass in the inputs, because I want to be able to pass in a custom like sales SOQL query in here. If they don't, we just do a default one for the account table. All right, so that's the crew. I just love that name, the Crew. I just love Motley Crue anyway. So, all right. So let's see. There's the return of the Crew right there. And well, kind of the setup of the Crew. And then I kick it off and I pass in the inputs. And the inputs right now are just the query. So I have a default query, select ID, name, phone, industry from account, or you can pass in another one. Obviously, I don't do a ton of validation of like making sure the query is valid and all that, but you can bake that in as you need. This is just a proof of concept anyways. So we go ahead and run the Crew here, and I need to add in when I run the kickoff here that I can pass in the query. Right now I don't have that, so if I want to do a custom query, I need to send it in this way, but it's not a big deal. So we'll kick this off first, and you'll see where it goes off and it's running the container, does the authentication, it got the access token, and then it goes ahead and the agent submits those, and here's the final return. This is not much data. You see 13, so it's pretty fast. So that was that one, and then let's go ahead and throw this in there with the custom one. So we wanted to be able to do this here. We'll run that again where the annual revenue is greater than 0. So that kicks off and we'll run pretty quick. All right, and then when we're all said and done, then we can log into Salesforce here. So this is my little sandbox account. You can get one for free and just play around. Here's all the ones I've been tinkering with, the bulk jobs. So let's go look at the data. So we take the ID of the job here, and let's go to the workbench. And as I mentioned, I will fold this in to download everything, but let's just go ahead and look at this query real quick for the results. So here you pass in a get to services, blah, 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 and you need to use the same version of the query here, the API that you're using over here. And it looks like 63 is supported, but only .62 through the workbench here. So I just kind of change that real quick in that in my agents.yaml. So let's go ahead and look at this, and you can see here's the results, and this is what we would end up getting once I get all this working. So once we download all this, then we'll just throw it in the meat grinder pipeline and jam it into BigQuery, and we'll be laughing. So there you go. I kind of like this approach because we can pass in the sysmod timestamp. So if you want to do incrementals, you can do it that way by passing in this and only get records that are, maybe store some state somewhere, do that. And then you can also retrieve tombstoned, deleted rows and things like that. So it's pretty slick. So yeah, if you got any questions, ping me. Otherwise, Bob's still your uncle. And once I get the downloading working, I will post that. So there you go. Take care.